Welcome to another episode of Mind, Mood and Food. I'm here again with the lovely Margaret, and I'm sure people have been waiting with bated breath since the last episode on seed cycling because we left you on a cliffhanger and we are now going to be telling you when to take them and how to take them. So, what to take them with, ideas, foods to eat your seeds with. So, I'm hoping people have been dashing out to the shops and buying those 4 seeds that you might have to just give us a brief reminder of, and then dive into the when and how. That would be amazing.
Yeah, no problem. So the 4 seeds that are included within the seed cycle are flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, um, sesame seeds, and sunflower seeds. So I'll dive straight into it. Phase 1. This is to boost and balance your estrogen. So when it comes to your menstrual cycle, these are to be taken on day 1 to 14. So it's day 1 is basically the very first day you start your bleed. Not spotting, your actual bleed. So these seeds here are to strike the balance. We want to make enough estrogen to help build your uterine lining, but not to create that estrogen dominance, which leads to the PMS and that bloating and just that weight gain and just that feeling of bleh that we all get or can get. So it's day 1 to 14, and with all the actual seeds, it is 1 tablespoon per day. That's all you need.
Lovely.
So with this phase, it's a tablespoon of flax seeds and a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds per day.
It's still quite a lot, I
It
suppose,
is,
isn't
yeah.
it? A tablespoon's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 lots of seeds,
Yeah.
so just bear that in mind. That's why I wanted to know the quantities, because you might think, I think if I didn't know that, I would have just sprinkled them on and probably not got enough. And then you might be wondering why you don't feel as much of the benefits.
Exactly. So it's a tablespoon of each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So the flax seeds and the pumpkin seeds in day 1 to 14. If you're not in your periods, but you're having an irregular cycle or you've gone past menopause, start on the new moon to full moon.
Yeah. So day 1 is the brand new moon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's your phase 1. Your phase 2 is day 15 to 28. And the aim round then is to boost progesterone. So it's 1 tablespoon of sunflower seeds and 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds. The aim here is to help thicken the uterine lining, but also relax the muscles that move that uterine lining along, as in when we're shedding that uterine lining, that is where the cramps and stuff come in. So we want to be helping to relax, but also be able to help that along so we're not getting so many of those cramping feelings. And as progesterone's a calming hormone, keeping progesterone to the levels it needs to be can giving you that calm serenity. So that feral cat doesn't come in.
Yeah, on that last week. And if you're not, I've always kind of had a 28-day cycle, but I'm guessing lots of people don't. But if your cycle is longer, if it's like 32 days or whatever it might be, or it might be a bit hit and miss, I guess you just do your best in terms of half and half. So day 1 might be day 1 to 16 or
Yeah,
20, half. It might be shorter. You might have a 21-day cycle, so then you need to just do it to day 11 or something. So
yeah,
yeah, just using it as that guideline is the important thing, but making sure you swap over halfway. You don't just keep going just because Margaret said today 14 and it doesn't
yeah.
fit your cycle. Just worth pointing that out. I think sometimes people don't think how it
Definitely,
might fit to their cycle.
definitely. And I think this goes back to our podcast where we talked about tracking your cycle. This
Yeah.
is where it's quite key. start understanding your own cycle. These are the guidelines, and it's based on a 28 day because that's typically
Hmm.
the most common of cycles for women. But as you said, Adele, it can be 21 days, it can be 30 days. To start tuning into your own cycle. These are the guidelines. Make it work for you.
Hmm.
And if you've got no periods, the second phase is from full moon to new moon. So phase one is new moon to full moon. Phase two is full moon to new moon, which roughly works out at those
Yeah.
28 days.
Yeah. So the waxing and waning of the moon.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what? It's as simple as that. There's just two phases. It's
Yeah.
not like, from this one to this one to
Yeah.
this one. It's literally just two phases for it.
Which is good because it sounds like it might be really complicated at first, doesn't it? Because there's all these different seeds and cycling and things. Like it just sounded like something woo, but it's have those 4 seeds in your cupboard and track your periods or use it with the moon and just see how it makes you feel for yourself.
Exactly. And just keep in mind what they're actually for.
Mm.
Either whether it's to have that estrogen balance or to have that progesterone balance, and that can give you the idea of what the different seeds are actually there for.
Yeah, I guess once you start doing it, you know, you just remember which you use when. Just make a note of it for the start, and then once you're in, like anything, once you're into the swing of it.
Yeah, yeah. And just a few guidelines for you. Where possible, use raw organic seeds, basically being, as I described in our last podcast, you don't know what's sprayed on these seeds if you don't go for organic, and quite a lot of the sprays that are out there can actually boost the estrogen because they have got the likes of chemical estrogens within the sprays that they spray the crops with. If you've never or very rarely eat seeds, start slow and work your way up to that 2 tablespoons per day, because guaranteed, if you start full whack, they will probably have some kind of reaction to your stool production, shall we say.
Produce more or less.
More than likely, they'll help you move more.
Good. I need that. I'm going straight in.
Keep hydrated as well to promote that bowel regularity, because what I've said is that these seeds are quite high in the likes of fiber, and fiber will help you keep regular. But extra fiber can have the opposite effect because it's
If it's
quite
not hydrated.
compound. Exactly. And if you do find the seeds upsetting your stomach, soak them in water for around about 8 to 10 hours, and that actually increases the digestibility of them. You can also sprout some of the seeds as well, and that can help you digest them better. Probably seen there's quite a lot of things out there about sprouted seeds now, and you can buy them, but blooming heck, you can do it so much cheaper at home, and it literally just takes 7 days to do. The only one that doesn't sprout um, is, well, it's actually sesame seeds, pumpkin, and sunflower seeds that do sprout. So you can sprout those. And store all seeds in an airtight jars in your fridge to keep them fresh.
So you can't just leave them in your cupboard.
Not the best,
Because
unfortunately.
I keep my nuts in the fridge, but I
Ooh,
wouldn't have thought to keep
your
seeds in the
seeds.
fridge. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
And with everything, your good gut bacteria is needed, because if your gut isn't in top condition, nothing's going to happen. And your good gut bacteria is needed to break down those seeds and get the stuff the way it needs to be.
Yeah, and the usual things to help with that. The
Probiotic,
fermented, the
yeah,
amazing fermented foods.
yeah, your probiotics, your prebiotics, which is your fibrous veg as well, and your cruciferous veg as well, which is your broccoli, your cauliflower, cabbage, all stuff like that. So I
Lovely.
give you a few ideas of what you can put your seeds on. So your yogurts,
Yay.
your overnight oats as well.
Mm,
Quite a lot of them have chia seeds in. So just, I'm not saying stop putting the chia seeds in because they've got still quite a lot of, well, they're really good. But add them, add
mhm,
them to your chia seed puddings, add them to your overnight oats, and then you've probably got quite a lot of your tablespoon of seeds there already. Sprinkle them on things like hummus as
mm,
well. Um, put them in salads. Or I did something yesterday. I made wholemeal Italian meatballs, and I just literally chucked some in there. Because I actually make the meatballs in the food processor and just grind everything up. Put them in there. No
mm,
harm in actually grinding them. But what I will say, if you can, quite a lot of the time we can get ground flax seeds,
mm,
but the potency of them really, really decreases depending on the age of them. So if you've got ground flax seeds to start off with, their potency can already be quite low. So if you are going to grind the flax seeds, get them full, and if you can, just grind them at home. Malt and pestle, or even just a blender or whatever, grind them up.
yeah.
Sprinkle some of them on, say, like your sweet potato or whatever, and mix that up. Put them into muffins and stuff like that. Hide them in, I don't know, like some of your homemade baked goods, just get them in there. Even if you're making a pesto, put your seeds in with that as well and add them to your smoothies.
Mm,
There's a good way as well. Put them into your scrambled eggs. That can help boost the ability of seeds, literally because of all the different kinds of fats and omega 3s and what have you within eggs that can help boost the seeds, as well as yogurt as well, because of all the good fats within yogurt that can help boost the ability of seeds. So that'll give you a few ideas of where you can just stick
chuck them in anything.
them.
I guess you
Literally.
can. I guess you can try
Mhm.
different things.
Yeah. Because if you're going to grind the seeds up, if you're going to grind them from fresh, you can just add them to absolutely tons of stuff. And
Mm. You
then,
just wouldn't normally think, would you? You know, like I had scrambled eggs at the weekend with spinach, and it was so tasty because, just adding the spinach on there. But if you had a few extra seeds on as well, I think it'd just be like we just talked about the crunch and things like that. That texture, I think, did we talk about that last time? It would, just give you that extra bit of crunch. It's like, if you have wholemeal toast, the seeded bread,
yeah, yeah,
that's on different brown breads, malted breads, and things like that. They have seeds on the
yeah,
outside of them, don't they? So just
exactly.
not be much different to that, would it?
Not at all. And yeah, if you're grinding them down, there's so many different things you can put them in, porridge, whatever. But as you say, if you're putting the seeds on there, why not omit croutons for the seeds? Just a thought.
Mm. Even just eating them as a snack,
Yeah.
chucking them in. Sometimes I'll get a pot. I just had a pot. It was random with grapes and nuts in it,
Hmm.
but it was nice as a snack. So you could chuck them in there, if you're making
Yeah.
a little snack pot.
Hmm.
If you think of the likes of Grays, that company that do the snack boxes and things like that, I'm sure other companies do them. Snack boxes with just it's just because it's convenient, isn't it? And it's just
Yeah.
healthy things like nuts and seeds and berries and things that you might not think of reaching for yourself.
Mhm.
I think because when I was at work in my corporate job, because you were in an office, I used to eat probably more healthy than I do now I'm at home because I was planning and prepping what I was taking. You would take, a banana, an apple. I would take a salad and whatever you've got in, like all those chia seeds, pumpkin seeds,
Just
what
that.
it just makes it a bit more interesting. So you just chuck it in the box of salad.
Mm.
And I think now when like I'm at home more, it's just easier to grab something more convenient. So I think planning and prepping what you're going to put things in and what you're planning to eat is a good idea.
Yeah.
And having this kind of information is really good because making you think about why you would eat these and why you would want to kind of shoehorn them into your diet. It's just I know it's exactly what you do and what you stand for in terms of adding in rather than thinking
Like,
always about taking away. And I love that as someone that loves food and will eat like, the wrong things a lot of the time. But that feeling that you can't have is
yeah,
not
it's such a
nice.
huge thing. We put
So
apart this
yeah,
upon.
it's just the psychology of it. So if you're too busy trying to add in,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. I think you're not going to eat as much of the bad stuff because if by the time you've added in your fruit and your seeds and your nuts and because you're like, right, I need to think about where I'm getting my nutrients from.
Yeah.
You're then like, well, number
I
one,
don't
you're
need to.
too full, so you don't need to eat the bag of crisps or whatever. And number two, I think because you've been snacking on these healthy things, it just feels a bit having that
Yeah.
healthy biscuit or bag of crisps doesn't feel as nice all of a sudden.
Yeah. You've hit the nail on the head, and that's quite a lot of what my clients get to. That
Mm,
feeling that actually I love fueling my body
mm.
with what is going to be key for my health rather than chucking in stuff that I know now won't benefit me as much.
Yeah, and just instead of feeling like you can't have, it's just
Yeah.
well have it if you still want it after you've eaten all your flax seeds and your strawberries and your blackberries and whatnot, then go for it. But you probably find you don't need. I need my husband to listen to this podcast. Well, not that I was going to say that in terms of this. Obviously, most of our audience will probably be women, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But um, there's still a place for these seeds and all of the different things for men. It's just that this is particularly about seed cycling that we're talking
Yeah.
about today, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, there's so much information out there when it comes to the different seeds. I'll just give you, a quick rundown of flax seeds, for instance. They're high in phosphorus, zinc, magnesium, vitamin A, fiber, polyunsaturated fat, iron, B6, selenium. So, you know, yes, they're brilliant for women, but blooming heck,
Mm.
if they're so important for men as well, for those
Yeah,
different.
and because like my husband doesn't like fruit at all, so it's really difficult. But you don't often think about different things like seeds and nuts and the minerals and the vitamins that are in those because you know he could take those to work and in some kind of form
Yeah,
and if you're not going to like eating the fruit for the texture or whatever at least get some of these other things in and otherwise it'll be like your sandwich and your packet of crisp every day and it's like well where are you getting your good nutrients from and then if you're feeling tired all the time and things like that it's like that's going to have an impact.
yeah. Little tip: chickpeas and your seeds. Mix them together in a little bit of olive oil, paprika, roast them. You like,
Mm. So just not you don't have to do that in a blender or anything
no,
just
no,
because
yep,
you want them like
yeah,
they're a roasted nut.
yeah. Give
Hmm.
those a go. I'm sure you'll like
Yeah,
them.
because I bet I can do them in the air fryer
Probably,
instead of
yeah,
putting the
absolutely.
oven on. Sorry, we digress. But hope that might be useful for people as well, if just looking for different ways to get all this stuff in a tasty, inventive way into your body, into your diet. Wow, thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to cover on that
Oh,
of
flipping
of
heck.
when and how to take them. I think we covered a lot there.
We did. It's just remembering what those specific seeds are for. And, you've got your phase one and your
Mm.
phase two. Not too difficult.
No, I
Not,
think just jot it down. I'm going to listen back, jot it down,
mhm,
and then you're away then, aren't you? And
exactly.
it's not like it's different quantities of each one. That would be confusing, like three
One
tablespoons of this
tablespoon
and one
of
of it.
each.
It's
Yeah,
it's really simple
yeah,
and loads of ideas of how to get them in there.
yeah.
So, and try and buy organic if you can. So I know it's hard with things being a bit more expensive and all of that, but get the best that you can,
Yeah.
uh, is the way to go, isn't it? Thank you so much. So interesting, those two podcasts together. If you are catching this one and you're wondering what the heck we're talking
What
about
we're
because
talking
you
about.
didn't catch the first one, just go back and find that. It'll be one before or two before. It won't be too far back. So you'll get in that episode exactly what each of these seeds are and what the benefits of those seeds are in terms of that difference in part of your cycle. So it'll make a lot more sense if you're randomly listening to this one. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Margaret for sharing all of that wonderful information. Happy seed eating. And do get in touch. I would love to hear how you're getting on with it, what you're finding. Have you found any benefits in your energy, in your mood, in your bloating, all of that stuff? It would be brilliant to hear that so that we can share it with others. And if you would be so kind to recommend the podcast to someone else, to share it with them, especially if you're just at the coffee machine having that chat at work and someone's going, oh my God, I'm so bad with bloating, or my temper's terrible this month. You've got, aha, this is what I'm trying. And if you would like to listen, here's where you can get it. Thank you, Margaret, and we'll see you again on the next episode.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.